Hi there, it's Tracy. I just thought that I would come to you today, just kind of talk candidly, unscripted, just kind of what life is like in the eyes of a buyer right now. So you're probably hearing about just kind of just it's hard to find a house right now. It's hard to get a house. When you do find a house that you want to buy, you're one of multiple contracts. And it is no joke out there right now. There are a lot of buyers. There is a shortage of sellers. There's about, we're probably 25% down on the number of listings that we would typically have in the Central Florida area right now from what we would typically see this time of the year. I personally think that there are some sellers that are maybe a little bit skittish to actually list their house because they're kind of thinking the same thing as other buyers of just kind of, where do I go? How do I know that I'm going to be able to buy a house? I've posted about that before, specifically from the seller's perspective of there are different things that can be written into the contract, different strategies to use. I personally put together a list of about 15 of them that could be used for sellers that are looking to either upgrade or downgrade their housing. But from a buyer's perspective, so if I just specifically talk just about buyers today, it is a hot market. There are houses that are priced right. They are typically, especially if they're being just listed on a weekend, it will be sold by the end of the weekend. So when we are working with buyers right now, there's kind of some things that we highly recommend that are done. First is you absolutely have to have a pre-approval. You can't window shop right now. If you do window shop, whatever house you see, it will not be available. And I would even go beyond just the pre-qualification, but where the lender would just check your credit scores, base their approval off of what it is that you tell them as far as your income, and actually go for the pre-approval where you are supplying them with copies of your pay stubs, copies of your tax returns, copies of your bank statements. So, and actually have an underwriter look at your material and get it pre-approved. So that's number one. Number two is, you have to be nimble and flexible. So for people who maybe have a little bit more of a strict schedule, one of the things that we're doing is recommending to our clients, okay, if you find a house that you really want to see, you have to be prepared to see it that day. The nice thing is with Peter and me, one of us is pretty much always available to be able to go out that afternoon to go see a house. In the event that you are not that flexible, then what we're suggesting to our clients is let's put a time on the calendar that works for you. And then the day before, we're looking to see what houses are available that fit your criteria, and work to go see those specific houses. We also there are going to be some needs and some wants, and you have to understand what your deal breakers are in today's market. If you absolutely have to have, let's say, a master on the main level, and you want a 2-level, well, you might have to look for just a 1-level that has the same number of bedrooms. That will expand the number of houses that are available to you. So you might want a 2-level, but in reality, you might end up getting a 1-level, but you'll still have that master on the main level. If you're looking for a pool, are you willing to put the pool in after the fact? Are you willing to make some upgrades so that the house is tailored to exactly what it is that you want, as opposed to buying a move-in ready house that you don't have to touch at all? So there's just some really hard questions that have to be asked right now. Then when you finally do find the house, it's going to be making a strong offer. So Are you able to use some of your down payment money to, to say, you know what, instead of putting 20% down, I'm willing to put 15% down just in case the house doesn't appraise, and use that other 5% towards guaranteeing any amount that the house doesn't appraise for. We haven't personally had this problem where houses are not appraising. There are definitely agents in the area that we're hearing that they're getting appraisals that are $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 below the contract rate. So it is happening. We haven't had that problem. So there are other strategies that we can do to make your offer more appealing than others. Certainly a full price or above asking cash offer with no appraisal contingency, that's a hard one to beat. So we will certainly so there are a few things that we'll do to help make your offer as strong as possible, and we will not put you in a position to where you don't feel comfortable with the offer. But don't be surprised if we tried to push you just a little bit, just to kind of and ask you that question of, if this house sold for $1,000 more than what you are putting an offer in for, would you be okay with that? So it's, there's some real heart-to-hearts right now that are having to happen. But ultimately it's, in a seller's market like it is, and in a hot seller's market like it is, as the buyer, it is being nimble, being prepared, and then also being willing to ask the hard questions and answering those questions. So we're here to answer any questions that you might have about the home buying process, and want to make this as smooth as possible. The one thing that we've kind of realized in reflection is all the buyers that we've worked with, they have gotten under contract. So it is possible, even up against multiple offers. So we do have some buyers, don't get me wrong, that have just kind of decided to take a break. And just kind of, they just said, it's not really for me. This market's a little bit too crazy. So, and that's fine too. We are here to serve our clients to the best of our ability and to meet their needs. So if you have any questions at all, please don't be afraid to ask. That is what we're here for. We're here to educate and to be a resource. Have a great day.